Are we joining via CoPlanet? Are we going to join via CoPlanet? We're joining via. Here we go. Let's see what's going to happen here. We're waiting. Let's see. Waiting. And if there's questions along the way, is that LaShawna? And if there's questions along
of charter school.
And if there's questions along the way, we're going to answer some of the questions at the end. All right. So, Jen, of course, I know you're my colleague, a dear friend, and I would say a pioneer and leader in the educational field. You. And so I just want to probably just give the floor to you, just give us a little bit of background in terms of just who you are, and then also you as a recruiter as well.
Sure. So thanks so much for having me today, Errol. Errol is most assuredly a pioneer in all things greatness. So I'm really excited to be talking with you all today. And let's see, my career is mostly education based. I have worked in the New York City public school system, first as a teacher and then as a literacy coach, and then went into the charter world and worked as a director of curriculum and instruction and a director of assessment, and then went to the network level and worked for a district of charter schools, and then helped start a brand new charter high school in the Bronx, and then to another district, got to work with 10, upwards of 15 by the time I left schools, as the managing director of literacy. And now I have the privilege of being the executive director of a youth nonprofit. Nice. All of these roles from about 2009 have involved some level of recruitment.
Very nice, very nice. And then can you tell us a little bit about CoPlanet for folks that don't know too much about what CoPlanet is?
Oh gosh, CoPlanet is amazing. It is a group of experienced, exceptional educational consultants, 13 of us, who have just gotten together over the course of our career and just come at educational challenges from every angle. And I really believe that we are like the Olivia Pope and company.
From Scandal.
I absolutely think that we can tackle any educational challenge together. We just have experts in every different aspect of what a school might need. And I think they're incredible folks for sure. And they believe that the thrive when our youth thrive, which is one of the most, compelling missions ever.
Perfect. And for folks that want to check out what CoPlanet is, if you look on our page, you'll see just a tag to the hashtag or @ to CoPlanet, right? So you can check out the Instagram account after. So, all right, Jen, you've been a recruiter. You not only recruit folks to organizations, like you are the person doing the interview, right? And so here's the reality that a lot of people face, whether it's clients I've spoken to, folks that follow the page, or even like myself in the past. Interviews are really scary, and there's a lot of prep time. Like you want to make sure, like, oh, I'm wearing the perfect outfit, the everything's complimentary, like in terms of tone, like, is my handshake firm enough? Does my resume look good? There's so much that happens. So as an interviewer, I want to just ask you, like, on your side of the table, what's that one piece of advice that you would give us that would be interviewing with you or whoever in the future?
Yeah. I feel like there's only one key and quality piece of advice to ace an interview.
Okay.
And it is
play
to your strengths.
Play to your strengths. What do you mean by that?
I mean, get in there and you stand in your own greatness, right? And I don't mean be arrogant or be cocky, but don't be afraid of the amazing things that you've done and the wonderful skills that you have, right? The number one thing that you have going for you is you are you. And you are not anyone, right? One of the best things I learned from my mom, who's a dance teacher, and I used to go on auditions to dance, right? Was you're not actually in competition with anybody else because no one else is you. So it's either you or it's not. So you just come, you be your best self, you give all of your strengths and you stand in your greatness. And then it's either for you or it's not. And what's for you is not going to pass you.
So then I guess my follow-up question to that is like, okay, let's say I'm, interviewing, let's say you're the interviewer for me, right? Like I'm coming in and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm qualified for that role, how would that advice benefit
Mm-hmm. So, first of all, and I know you and I have talked about this offline,
me?
right?
Yeah.
Most people feel like they're not qualified for a role. And that's at just about every level. Senior
Yeah.
leaders, I know, right, feel nervous about taking their current role and leveraging it for even a comparable role in a different type of organization, right? A very dear friend of mine, director
Uh-huh.
of operations for a charter school, nervous about whether she could get that same role in corporate, right? So
Okay, so
this,
wait, so she was moving from a charter school to corporate.
she's thinking about it, and then she's like,
Okay.
wait, maybe I'm not qualified for that. And she's overqualified, right? If you can do that role in charter, you can do that role in a
Okay.
corporation. But we all have this little middle school bully in the back of our head that gives us this sort of fraud complex, right? Like, oh, who am I? Oh, I could never. I can't, right?
Yeah,
The
because you're
only
nervous walking into that whole thing.
That's right. That's right. And I don't have the degree. I don't have the right body. I don't whatever your particular middle school bully is, right? That's keeping you
Yeah.
back. It is lying to you.
Okay.
No question, right? You just get in there and you be
Right.
strong and you stand in what you know you can do and you just
Okay.
shine. Like, what are the parts of yourself?
Yeah. Right. So okay, so then I guess then, right, I'm like thinking of it. So you're basically saying that when somebody walks into an interview, when somebody's like, no matter it's like, whether I feel like I'm qualified or not, like you're saying like there's this middle school bully that's telling us all the negative thoughts and we have to kind of like silence that bully. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And not only that, just get in there and know that you you are the best for this position, right? Like think that when you get in there, right? And then just explain from that perspective why you would be great for it. Tell stories of things you've done that are comparable. Tell skills you
Hmm.
think could transfer. Like try to be as specific as possible with the uniqueness
Yeah.
that you bring, right? And I
Yeah.
can give some examples if you want to, Meryl. You let me know.
Okay, so yeah, like give me an example because it's I just want to kind of help like either myself and also like people tuning in. Like give me an example of like somebody coming in and try to play to their strengths. Okay.
All right, so I had a young woman reach out to me, said that she wanted to be an assistant teacher, wrote a very specific, very compelling cover letter, which by the way is outstanding. It helps set up that interview beautifully, right? Like don't miss that chance if you have it, right? So she says to me, I've never been an assistant teacher before, right in her cover letter. But then she shows up for the interview and she's passionate, she's
Yeah.
present, she's engaged, she's
Okay.
talking about how much she loves to engage with young people. And you can just tell that she's mentorable into this position, right? She's bringing the passion, she's bringing the ability. She talks about
Mm,
she's worked with young people in different capacities that could help
right.
her role. She's talking about the way that she relates to people might help her relate
Mm,
to parents, right? Like she's
sure.
done the internal work of saying, how do my strengths match this
Hmm.
position? Even if I haven't had this position before, how is the unique person that I am and me standing in my own greatness going to make me
Oh, if I could just like capture that moment of like standing in your own greatness, right? That's so powerful. I mean, that goes like even beyond the interview experience, right? Like the reason like you're applying for the role is because you seek for more. And so you have to keep that spirit about you, that momentum about you. And then when you're in there, like don't shrink in your seat, like rise in your seat, stand for that greatness as you're saying. So okay, so your number one leverageable like tip for anybody, regardless of industry, regardless of being in education industry or corporate, this and that, is play to your strengths, like stand in your power. Yeah.
Absolutely. Lead with your strengths, stand in your greatness.
Right. And like Ellie's saying here, she says confidence in your greatness, right? So that's
Right.
definitely that. So, it's for folks where I do their resume, one of the ideas that I always like say is like you have a story, right? You have to lead with that story in your resume. Your resume should lead with your strengths as well and have results in it. But you also need to take that into the interview experience. So definitely a good point. So that's the leverageable move, and wow, like I'll keep that in mind, and we'll definitely share that on the page. So Jen, if you could just wrap up those like points. So what's my takeaway today?
Oh yeah, your takeaway. So first, your little pre-takeaway is make sure you write that specific good cover letter because it helps you out a lot. But in the interview, it's stand in your strengths. It's go ahead and be your unique self. Nobody else is you, and that is the superpower you bring to that interview. And then my additional is just be gracious, right? Make sure you thank heavily, thank afterward, right? Thank uniquely if you can. I've received a video thanks before and never forgot it.
Wow. Wow.
So stand in your strengths, be your unique self, be gracious. You got this. Then even if that isn't for you, that combination will be what will get you the job. If it's not the job, it's the next job, right? But if you do that and you just find the place where you're the right fit, you did everything you could. You completely showed up for that.
All right, perfect. So we've got those tips down. So I want to, before we break for questions, folks, if you're tuning in, we definitely appreciate that you tuned in and joined us. We're going to be, whether it's Jen or other interviewers that we're going to capture every Sunday, or even watching me edit resume live, which we're going to do next week. Make sure you join in that. There's free resources, by the way, on the website, theresumetailor.com. When you go to theresumetailor.com, you go to resources, and you have your interview guide, which is a one-pager of how to prepare for the interview, because things happen. You forget people's names, you forget your train of thought. So that's a free resource for folks. So we'll officially say we're done now, but we'll spend the next couple of minutes answering some questions that popped up. I saw one of the questions, and we're going to go through, is what are some good tips to calm nervousness during the interview?
Good tips.
I got one. You go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a really specific one to me, because again, it's always got to be unique. What's going to help you? I actually keep a small, smooth stone in my pocket. And if I'm feeling nervous, I just touch on it. It worked for me. I even did it in my dissertation defense, right? It just is meditative, that helps center me, ground me. I use a stone because for me, a stone is, I always remember, it is sand and water and pressure and a million, and it became a stone. It's powerful, right? It's a powerful thing.
Of how it became a stone.
Yeah. So I just think, right? Oh, thanks. Yeah. So you can keep something that's true to you with you that will.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. That's.
You got one too, Errol?
I've got one. So I've got two. One's a plug. So the interview sheet that I put out for the free resources, that's actually a sheet that I've used in interviews before, because for me, I get rattled and I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I talking about and everything? So my nervousness comes from losing my train of thought. So you have to know what makes you nervous, right? So if it's, you need to feel more grounded and you need, something to hold and touch, that I think that works. For me, it's I lost my train of thoughts. Can I just peek at my notes? And you can definitely have notes in front of you in an interview, right? You can have your notes. And sometimes I pause folks and say, all right, well, let me just internalize that question. But I'm also relaxing myself and just breathing. So those are some tips for it. I see.
That's 100% right, because then you can look down. Always appropriate to have notes. No one's bothered by it. I love this comment from someone that's just pump yourself up before you go in. Absolutely do that. Absolutely. You got this. You are great. One short, small, little life. Why wouldn't you go for big opportunities?
Right. Absolutely. I think one of the things I also like to do, I just throw in another one, is I love to believe that the person across the table from me is rooting for me in my favor, right? They want to see me do well. You called me in because you already love what I got. So right now it's as Paula said, it's about that chemistry, right? I want to pretend kind of like we're doing here, right? I want to pretend like I'm sitting back on my living room couch talking to you. I'm comfortable. You want to see me do well. I want to see, the interviewer's sometimes nervous too. Oh, what are they going to think of our organization, right? So I just try to calm my spirit and say it's all going to be okay. It sounds cliche, but it's just we're rooting for each other.
Oh no, yeah. I had a former boss who would say, we start interviewing somebody, but then if we see that they're a fit, we turn around and I'm you're interviewing me, right? I'm hoping that you want as badly as I want you here. So, imagining that the person across from you already sees the amazingness in you, is always a great way to start. And just imagine that's a great way to like live your life, Errol.
It is.
Everybody is taking you in your absolute excellence, you know, and then if they're
Yeah.
not, well, it's okay. You're living as if they are.
Yeah. Oh, Jen, this just turned into a motivational like Instagram live. This just went way beyond interview to interview. It's like come get a like dose of confidence and happiness. So I guess I'll wrap up and say, I noticed that Paula brought up a good point. You can tell them, do you mind if I take notes? If you say, that is really good to tell the interviewer because it also helps you. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna just relax. I'm gonna take some notes, take it on your one-pager sheet that you got on the resumetailor.com in the
No,
resource section.
but also small
Hmm.
caveat, trust yourself not to read off your paper, right?
Oh
That's a
yeah,
big,
so it's definitely like, one of the things we had covered last week is like don't use that paper to like put your head down and
no,
study. It's just to glance at along
right.
the way if you lose track. If you lose
Exactly.
track. But
You want to speak from your heart, even if you don't get everything out the way that you want to get it.
yeah.
So much more powerful if you're looking at somebody and speaking from your heart than if you are reading off a paper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Jen, thank you so much. I think this was a really great kickoff for interview to interview. You hit us with a dose of motivation. I'm like looking in the comments, people are writing yes and waving like this is like really cool. So, I appreciate that, folks. If you want, stay tuned for the upcoming weeks. I'm going to do a recap later this week of our wonderful, wonderful chat. And Jen, can I see you soon? Can you rejoin us like another time?
Oh, I would love it. This was a blast. I would stay all afternoon. It's raining. I would stay all afternoon. What else? This was such a pleasure. Everyone, work with Errol. My God, he's amazing. There's nothing better than a great resume, right? So make sure that, everything that you're strong in is really clear on that paper. And my gosh, just go out there and get it, right? Don't be afraid to go get it. I would love to see you interview for my organization. So come on up. We have an office position open. If you're looking for an
Oh, you
office
guys have
position,
an office position open?
yep.
Oh, okay. So if folks want
Act,
more information about that, where do they go, Jen?
they would go to actprograms.org or they can email me. Can we put that we can put that in the comment or something.
We can put that in. Yeah, I'll put that in the note. Yeah. Oh, we'll
Oh,
put your email address. Perfect. Perfect. Wonderful. So guys, you just got information about a job opening as well. Amazing. All right, Jen coming in blessing us. That had like we didn't plan that. That was pretty good.
no, no, no. I would love to see you come through. So, congratulations on everything that you're already doing, and thank you for letting us give you some tips on how to do even better. Don't forget how awesome you are. Staying in your greatness.
Perfect. Have a good day, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Take care.
Bye, Errol.